On Monday, I had Andy Staples on this show to address the rumors about a signing day moving up to December 3rd. Remember, we didn't really like that idea. Well, it looks like much more drastic changes seem like they're on the way. And on Wednesday morning, Pete Thamel shook up the recruiting world with his report. So in this video, I'm bringing Andy back on to talk about these latest developments. But before we get going, you guys, make sure you hit subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel. This offseason is already crazy. We're going to help you make your way through it. We're going to be here all offseason, so go ahead, hit subscribe. All right, let's bring on national On3 college football analyst Andy Staples. Now, the proposal reported today by Pete Thamel would actually result in 3 signing days. It would be the last Wednesday in June, the Wednesday following the regular season, which would be that December 3rd or 4th date on that Wednesday, and then the traditional signing day, which is the first Wednesday in February. So we'd have all 3. Andy, what do you think of this development?
Well, this is from the agenda of the Football Oversight Committee. So this is what they're actually talking about in Indianapolis this week. Correct. So this is the proposal. This is what they're chewing on. And this makes a lot more sense because if you just moved the early signing day from 3rd Wednesday in December to 1st Wednesday in December, that was going to make things much worse because it would just put more pressure on the coaching carousel. It wasn't going to help anybody. But if you have a signing period in June, that's what the coaches have been asking for. They've been asking for something in the summer where a lot of that gets taken care of before the players' high school senior seasons start. And then this kind of mirrors basketball a little more where you have the November signing period and the April signing period. So there's one right before the season starts and one after the season ends. This would make more sense because it doesn't put the same amount of pressure on the coaching carousel. Yes, there may be coaches fired with a class signed, but a coach also maybe would help save his job by signing a good class in June. And you can say, hey, look, I got this class signed. Please don't fire me. So that helps a little. It also helps them have to babysit less. There would still be players signing in December. It wouldn't be nearly as many as we saw when they instituted the December signing period. Whatever the first one is going to become the main one.
Yeah. And that will be the main one. It always kind of is the first one now with everything so much more sped up. Now, December essentially used to be the hot and heavy recruiting month. You had 2 or 3 major visit weekends, and then the 3rd Wednesday in December, you had that signing day a week before the holidays kick in. So the coaches wanted this time to be dead. Does this help with how does this help the coaches kind of sort out their own team?
Well, it helps them because they have to re-recruit their own players who might be entering the transfer portal. They also have to recruit transfers. Yeah. And reading this, it doesn't look like it would keep you from bringing transfer players on campus. So you would be dealing with that, which is something they have to deal with. What they hated was dealing with all of it at once. Yeah. And a lot of times they were dealing with all of it at once and preparing for a bowl game. That's not easy to do. So I think what this would do was it also respects the fact, Josh, that this process has been accelerated. It's been accelerated for years. And we know like May and June are big commitment months. Like this would allow you to sign right after camp season, essentially.
Mm-hmm. So talking about it from the recruit's perspective, though, is signing in June good when we know certain coaches just won't be around by the end of the season? How does that play out? Do we see some recruits maybe hold off on signing, or do they just sign and then get out of their letter of intent if that happens?
I think most people realize you can sign and get out of your letter of intent if your coach gets fired or your coach leaves. I think everybody understands that. Now, there's no school that's going to put a hard line on that. I think 10 years ago, there would be schools like, no, we're not letting you out. We've shamed them enough to understand they can't do that. So they're going to let people out of those letters of intent, but they're also going to have a chance to keep them. Because think about this, in the NIL era, Josh, I mean, like, let's say a player, I'm not insinuating that players might go to the school that offers the biggest bag, but let's say a player's taking a bag. I mean, there are no NIL rules now, so they'll have something in writing that says what they might be able to get when they get on campus. So let's say a player is interested in the biggest bag, and the school says, we fired our coach. We're going to hire this new coach, but we're still going to give you the biggest bag. Think that player's going to stay? I think they probably are.
Yeah, I kind of think that the NIL, some of these deals might end up securing some of these commitments, even if there is a coaching change. So we'll see what happens. Is this expected to start this summer or next summer? So 2024 summer or 2025 summer?
It's unclear. It looks like they have the option to do either one. And if you read on the agenda, it says if you do this immediately, it may have an effect on this current recruiting cycle because these players went in thinking the first chance they'd have to sign is December. So they would probably, a lot of those guys were going to do official visits in the spring anyway, but they would probably have to, revise their schedules to make sure they see all the schools they want to see before that June signing date. Because I'd imagine still most of them will want to sign in June if they have the opportunity to.
Yeah. And if you guys go back and watch me and Andy's conversation from Monday, I don't think we were satisfied at all with the changes that were being implemented, but also we didn't have the full picture. So now that we know
I said this would be stupid if they passed this.
Yes. But now knowing a little bit more with Pete Thamel's report, is there, we're looking for the perfect fix, but there's no such thing. So how close does this come to fixing the problems that we always talk about with recruiting?
There's no perfect fix. There's no easy way to do it. Coaches are always going to get fired. Coaches are always going to leave. You're always going to have to deal with that. But the thing that the unintended consequence with the first one being in December was once the transfer rules changed, everything smashed together at once. So you had the coaching carousel smashing up against National Signing Day, smashing up against everybody going into the portal. Now you take National Signing Day out of that equation. There is a signing period there. It will be a dramatically smaller number of people signing in December. It'll be a large number signing in June. And the thing is, Josh, nobody ever wants to hear this. There's still a lot of guys who pick a school because they want to go to that school and want to be done with their recruiting and want to have it over with. That's still most of the people who sign in the FBS. Most of them will sign in June and they will go to the school they signed with.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of generally how it is, but you always have those outliers. Like if a team signs 25 in a class, how many are really up for grabs at the end? Maybe 2 or 3, not as many as people think. So I do think that, like you said, the June signing date, while that will be crazy in itself, don't get me wrong, like that'll still be exciting and that'll be crazy. But the December signing day, it'll be over with early. So if there is if things do go sideways for a team, at least by December 3rd or 4th, they're going to know, okay, this is our class. We can take them next month to focus on the portal and so on and so forth. So we'll see what happens this first cycle. I'm sure it's going to be fun to cover. Andy Staples, we'll talk more about it. Appreciate you dropping by.
Okay, wait, before we go, can I throw something selfish in there from our perspective, for you and me, Josh? Because like I said, we were talking about it when we thought they might be moving the December one, and the December one was still going to be the first one. The NFL doesn't have the draft on Wild Card Weekend for a reason. Like that, from a news perspective, from a getting a pop out of your recruiting class perspective, was terrible for the schools, for the coaches, for the players. This one, there's nothing going on. They got regular season Major League Baseball. That's it. The NBA Finals are over. Like, this will be the biggest day in college football for a period of months. Like, you have media days that'll start a couple weeks after that. But this might restore the pop of National Signing Day that it used to have when it was only in February.
Yeah. Because February was after the season. It was in the offseason. Not as deep in the offseason as June is. But remember, January was recruiting season. Like, we actually had a season dedicated to recruiting. The national championship was over, and we have 3 to 4 weeks of just raw recruiting. And then, like you said, everything started overlapping. And when December became the most prominent signing day, it was washed out by all the other events. Now we bring back recruiting season, and that's going to be official visit season into the month of June, and then it'll all culminate with
and
that.
I like the idea of a signing day coming out of camp season. Everybody's got everything fresh in their mind. A lot of these players will have just seen every campus that they're interested in. They'll have talked to every coaching staff that they're interested in because they'll have just gone to all the camps of the places that they're serious about. And I think that probably will help people make decisions. It will help coaches make decisions. And coaches, let's be real, are going to have to be careful because they have to decide, are you going to fall off your senior year? Am I going to like somebody better in 2 months?
Is somebody else going to
Do I really want to?
Like,
they're going to have to show their cards if this offer's real or not.
It's going to be fun. We're going to navigate it all. Thanks, Andy. Appreciate you dropping by the Inside
Thanks.
Scoop today. Thank you for watching this video. And if you enjoyed that, go check out the hundreds of videos that we have on this channel. And also, do me a favor, hit subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel.